Have you ever found yourself staring up at the night sky, wondering if we're truly alone in the universe? Or perhaps you've looked at the ancient ruins on Earth, the pyramids, Stonehenge, and the mysterious Nazca lines, and wondered how these immense, intricate structures were built without the technology we have today. What if the truth behind these wonders is far stranger than we could ever imagine? What if everything we know about history, about our origins, is just a small piece of a much larger, far more complex puzzle, one that reaches across galaxies and spans eons of time? For decades, Star Wars has captivated audiences with its epic battles, ancient wisdom, and intergalactic empires. But what if this iconic story isn't just fiction? What if the galaxy far, far away wasn't a made-up universe at all, but a very real part of our distant past, an event so profound that its impact reverberated across the ages, leaving only fragments of its legacy scattered throughout time and space? Imagine a time when humanity wasn't alone, when Jedi and Sith wielded the Force, and entire planets were connected through hyperspace routes. Picture a universe at war, where the fate of entire species was decided by galactic armies and powerful technological empires. Could this story, one of the most beloved sci-fi sagas of all time, be more than just an imaginative creation? Could it be the distant memory of an ancient civilization, long lost to time? What if Star Wars wasn't just a tale of far-off galaxies, but a lost chapter of our own cosmic history? In this podcast, we'll dive into the theory that Star Wars may not be the work of fiction at all, but rather a forgotten truth from a time when intergalactic empires and powerful alien races were part of our shared past. We'll explore the ancient alien theory, the idea of a Great Galactic Reset, the mysteries of lost technologies, and the strange connections between Star Wars and the myths of Earth's ancient cultures. From the origins of humanity to the rise and fall of galactic civilizations, we'll explore how the lines between fact and fiction might be blurrier than we ever imagined. So, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey through time and space, where Star Wars isn't just a story, it's a possibility. Could it be that the galaxy far, far away is closer than we think, and that our history is far more intertwined with the cosmos than we ever realized? When Star Wars begins with the phrase, "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away," what if it's not just a storytelling device, but a literal truth? The universe is roughly 13.8 billion years old, while Earth has only existed for about 4.5 billion years, meaning there could have been advanced civilizations long before our planet was even formed. If the events of Star Wars happened in the distant past, it's possible that the remnants of that era have been lost to time, either destroyed by cosmic forces or buried so deeply that we'll never find them. One of the biggest questions in science is the Fermi paradox, which asks, if the universe is so vast and old, where is everyone? If the Galactic Empire, Republic, or other powerful civilizations existed millions or billions of years ago, they could have collapsed in catastrophic wars or simply faded away. Given enough time, even the most powerful spacefaring empires could be erased by black holes, supernovae, or galactic shifts. Perhaps the remnants of hyperspace lanes, battle stations, and droids were swallowed by time, leaving nothing for us to discover. Some even speculate that Earth itself might be a forgotten colony from this ancient past. If humans originated elsewhere, perhaps on Coruscant, Corellia, or another advanced planet, it could explain why we have such an innate curiosity for space travel. Over millions of years, knowledge could have been lost, turning legends of Jedi and Sith into distorted myths of gods and warriors. Could our ancient civilizations, with their grand monuments and unexplained technological feats, be echoes of a forgotten intergalactic history? If you like this video, please give us a like, leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. Now, back to the video. Another possibility is that the universe experienced a galactic, dark age, a period when war, destruction, or the loss of key technologies caused widespread regression. In Star Wars lore, planets like Mandalore once had advanced technology but fell into ruin due to endless wars. If a real version of this happened, entire star systems could have been cut off from one another, forcing civilizations to start over from scratch. Ultimately, if Star Wars was real in the distant past, we may never find solid proof. But the idea isn't entirely far-fetched. Given the age of the universe, the possibility of lost civilizations, and our own drive to explore the stars, who's to say that we aren't just rediscovering something that once was? Maybe humanity is simply the next chapter in a much older story. If Star Wars happened in the distant past, then why haven't we found any evidence of lightsabers, starships, or droids? The simple answer: time erases everything. Even on Earth, nature reclaims abandoned cities in just a few centuries. Now imagine what could happen over millions or billions of years. If a massive galactic civilization once thrived, its ruins could have been consumed by cosmic forces, planets swallowed by black holes, space stations shattered by supernovae, or entire star systems drifting beyond our observable universe. On Earth, ancient structures like the Great Pyramids and Stonehenge have survived for thousands of years, but more advanced materials, like metals, plastics, and electronics, decompose much faster. If an intergalactic war or natural disaster wiped out an advanced civilization long ago, their technology could have simply disintegrated beyond recognition. Even if remnants remain, they might be buried deep beneath the surfaces of uncharted planets, hidden under miles of cosmic dust or tectonic shifts. Another possibility is that advanced civilizations didn't just disappear, they were deliberately erased. What if a great war, similar to the Clone Wars or Galactic Civil War, led to the destruction of hyperspace networks, databases, and technology? If a ruling power, like the Empire, wanted to control history, they could have purged all records of their enemies, ensuring that future generations would never uncover the truth. In Star Wars lore, the Sith wiped out Jedi archives, rewriting history to fit their own narrative. Could a real-life version of this have happened on a galactic scale? Even on Earth, we have ancient texts that describe lost technologies, like the Vimanas in Hindu mythology, flying machines said to be capable of interstellar travel. Some believe these could be distorted memories of real spacecraft from an ancient era. Likewise, ancient cave paintings of strange beings and sky gods could be glimpses of forgotten space travelers. If civilizations from Star Wars once visited Earth, it's possible their influence faded into legend, becoming part of mythologies and religious texts. Ultimately, the lack of physical evidence doesn't mean something never existed. It just means time is an unstoppable force. If Star Wars was real, the vastness of space and the relentless march of time could have buried its history forever. But maybe, just maybe, some remnants of that distant past are still out there, waiting to be rediscovered. As we talked 2 weeks ago about the ancient alien theory, we have to talk it again in Sci-Topic. The idea that Star Wars might have happened in the distant past ties in perfectly with one of the most debated theories in history, ancient aliens. What if the force-wielding Jedi and Sith, the hyper-advanced civilizations, and the galaxy-spanning wars weren't just fiction, but distant memories of real extraterrestrial events? If advanced beings once ruled the stars, could their influence still be seen in ancient Earth civilizations? Many cultures have myths about gods descending from the heavens, wielding unimaginable power. But what if these gods weren't supernatural at all, just highly advanced beings mistaken for deities? The Jedi, with their ability to manipulate the Force, could have been viewed as divine figures, much like the gods in Greek, Norse, and Hindu mythology. Lightsabers, starships, and droids may have seemed like magic to early humans, inspiring legends that have been passed down for millennia. Structures like the Great Pyramids of Egypt, the Nazca Lines in Peru, and Stonehenge in England have long puzzled historians. How were these massive, geometrically precise monuments built without modern tools? Some believe they were influenced, or even directly created, by ancient extraterrestrials. If the Star Wars galaxy was real, it's possible that remnants of its civilizations made their way to Earth, shaping early human culture. Perhaps the pyramids were once beacons for interstellar travelers, much like the Jedi temples that stored ancient knowledge across the galaxy. Even the idea of humanity itself being from Earth isn't a certainty. What if humans originated from another planet, maybe Coruscant, Corellia, or even Tatooine, and were brought to Earth long ago. Some scientists have proposed the panspermia theory, which suggests that life on Earth could have come from elsewhere in the universe. If a great war or catastrophe wiped out galactic civilization, survivors might have settled on Earth, eventually forgetting their origins and starting over. Over time, their advanced knowledge was lost, and their history turned into legend. The connections between Star Wars and ancient alien theory are hard to ignore. Myths of gods with incredible powers, unexplained technological feats, and even the idea of humanity's mysterious origins all hint at the possibility that we are part of a much older, much grander story. If so, then Star Wars isn't just a tale from a long time ago, it's part of our own forgotten history. If Star Wars happened in the distant past, could some of its alien species have actually existed? More importantly, could they have visited Earth, or even contributed to human evolution? The universe is vast, and the odds of intelligent life developing elsewhere are incredibly high. If galactic civilizations once thrived, it's possible that some of their inhabitants made their way to our planet, leaving traces of their existence in ancient myths, unexplained artifacts, and even human DNA. Many ancient cultures have legends of strange beings that resemble the aliens seen in Star Wars. The elongated skulls found in ancient Peru, for example, have led to speculation about non-human influences. While mainstream archaeology explains these as intentional skull shaping, others wonder if they could be remnants of a species resembling Kaminoans or other alien races. Similarly, some Egyptian hieroglyphs depict figures with large, almond-shaped eyes, reminiscent of classic depictions of extraterrestrials. Could these be distorted memories of actual encounters with off-world visitors? Then there's the mystery of humanity's rapid development. Scientists are still unsure exactly how and why early humans evolved so quickly compared to other species. Could an ancient, advanced civilization, possibly remnants of the Star Wars galaxy, have played a role? Some theorists suggest that early humans might have been genetically modified or influenced by alien travelers, much like how in Star Wars, the Sith and Jedi manipulate genetics and midichlorians to enhance abilities. If we are the descendants of intergalactic settlers, that might explain our deep-rooted fascination with space and exploration. Additionally, stories of lost continents like Atlantis, Lemuria, or Mu could be distorted memories of real ancient civilizations, possibly even former colonies of a long-gone galactic empire. What if these weren't just earthly cities but once part of a vast interstellar network? Their disappearance could be explained by natural disasters, wars, or even a deliberate attempt to erase their history, much like how the Jedi archives were purged in Star Wars. If Star Wars happened long ago, we might never find direct evidence of Twi'leks, Wookiees, or Rhodians. But ancient myths, unexplained artifacts, and the mysteries surrounding human evolution could be the last faint echoes of a long-lost era, one where we were not alone in the galaxy. Maybe the reason we haven't found them yet is simple: they were here before us, and we are just rediscovering the past. If Star Wars happened in the distant past, one possibility is that the galaxy underwent a Great Reset, a massive cataclysm that wiped out entire civilizations, leaving behind only faint traces of a once glorious interstellar empire. In Star Wars, we see how the Republic fell into the hands of the Empire, followed by a devastating galactic civil war. But what if such events didn't happen just once? What if entire galactic civilizations rose and fell over and over again, each time leaving only fragments of their knowledge and technology? Such a galactic collapse could have been caused by many factors: cosmic catastrophes like supernovae, black holes, or even galactic collisions. Wars of unimaginable scale, like the Clone Wars or the battle between the Empire and the Rebel Alliance, might have destroyed critical infrastructure and wiped out whole species. In the aftermath, the surviving populations would have had to rebuild from nothing, losing the knowledge of their once advanced technologies and sprawling galactic networks. This is not unlike what happened on Earth after the fall of ancient empires, the Dark Ages, a time of cultural and technological regression after the collapse of Rome, which left many European societies isolated and fragmented. If such a cosmic, dark age occurred, it could explain why we have no concrete evidence of advanced civilizations today. The rise and fall of galactic empires could have been repeated so many times that all that remains are myths and legends. Survivors of such collapses would have had to start over, rebuilding in isolation, disconnected from the broader galaxy. Eventually, the records of their past would be erased, and what remained would be passed down as legendary tales, like the stories of the Jedi, Sith, and the Galactic Empire in Star Wars. Over time, the truth would have faded into myth. A Great Reset could have also led to the destruction or the deliberate abandonment of hyperspace routes, causing galactic isolation. As knowledge of faster-than-light travel and advanced technologies was lost, planets would have fallen into stagnation. We might see this today in the form of civilizations that seem to start over after periods of great conflict, just as planets in Star Wars went through cycles of war and peace. Perhaps this is the pattern we are seeing now in our own history, where humanity has repeatedly discovered and forgotten advanced technologies. In essence, the Star Wars galaxy could be a tale of galactic civilizations that continually reset themselves, fighting great wars, falling into darkness, and emerging again, only to lose their way once more. Could Earth be the next in this cycle? Could we one day discover the remnants of a galactic empire, just as we are rediscovering pieces of our own history? The Great Galactic Reset might be more than just a plot point in fiction, it could be the key to understanding our own past and future in a much larger cosmic context. In exploring the possibility that Star Wars might have truly happened in the distant past, we ventured into a fascinating mix of ancient history, advanced technology, and cosmic events. From the idea that powerful galactic civilizations once existed to the suggestion that their fall triggered a great reset, the concept of an ancient galactic empire is more than just a science fiction story, it taps into humanity's deepest curiosities about our place in the universe, our origins, and the unknown forces that may have shaped our history. If Star Wars was real, the implications would stretch far beyond the scope of a fictional universe. Ancient alien encounters, lost technologies, and forgotten galactic wars could be at the heart of many of the myths and mysteries that have perplexed humanity for centuries. The Fermi paradox, the inexplicable gaps in our own historical record, and the unexplained wonders of Earth, like the pyramids, Stonehenge, and strange artifacts, might not just be the result of human ingenuity, but the faded remnants of an ancient interaction with intergalactic travelers. Could the Force, that elusive energy field binding the universe together, be an undiscovered science waiting to be unlocked? Could the knowledge of how to manipulate such power have been lost over time, only to remain a whispered legend in cultures that knew no better? As we look into the stars, it's hard to ignore the possibility that we're not alone, and that perhaps we never were. The idea that humanity could have once been part of an intergalactic community, only to have fallen into isolation and ignorance over eons, is both humbling and inspiring. It challenges our understanding of history and opens the door to a much larger, more mysterious universe. What if the answers to many of humanity's greatest questions lie not in the future, but in the past? What if our ancestors once lived among the stars, and their stories became our myths and legends? The Great Reset theory suggests that our galaxy, just like the Earth, has experienced rises and falls of civilizations so vast and significant that they left no trace but the faintest echoes, passed down as myth. The great wars of the past, like the Clone Wars or Galactic Civil War, could be distant memories of conflicts on a scale so grand, so destructive, that their physical traces simply couldn't survive the ravages of time. What if we're just the latest civilization to inherit the remnants of this ancient galaxy, trying to piece together the puzzle of our true origins while building our own future? The more we learn about our universe, the more we realize how much we don't know. Perhaps, just as Star Wars portrays a vast, complex galaxy filled with rich histories and lost civilizations, our own history is more interconnected with the cosmos than we could ever imagine. Maybe we are not the first beings to look up at the stars and dream of exploring the galaxy. Maybe, in some distant corner of the universe, the legacy of those who came before us, those who wielded the Force and built interstellar empires, is just waiting to be rediscovered. In the end, the question remains, Is Star Wars just a story, or is it a forgotten history waiting to be uncovered? Perhaps, one day, we will find the truth, buried deep within the stars or hidden within the myths that have survived the ages. Until then, we can only continue our search, driven by the same curiosity and wonder that the Jedi and Rebels shared, to explore, to discover, and to understand the vast universe around us.